How's it going? Thought I'd do a bit of an update on some beds that have been infested with root knot nematodes and a barrel as well, and also show you how we're feeding up the beds this year. Every season we tend to do it a little bit differently. We're coming into our cooler weather crop, so I thought I'd just show you what I'm adding to them this time. The bed beside me here has been treated with some biochar, had some activated biochar added, and then had a mixed crop of mustard greens and marigolds. They were grown to about 300 ml or about a foot tall, and then mulched up and dug through the bed to treat the root knot nematodes. I really think they like the activated biochar in there because they grew gangbusters, and so did the cucumbers that we just pulled out of this bed as well. So I'll give you a bit of a look at that and some of the roots that I found in the bed. To begin with, I'm using a lot of scratchings from the chicken yard. What happens is they tend to feed the chickens up that end of the pen. There's kohlrabi up there, some kangkongs, some lawn clippings and the like. They have a bit of a peck around, they do their business and poop up there. Slowly it works downhill. There's a little bit of a slope here. It works downhill and collects in this area here. Just under here are some pavers, which also helps as well, makes it easy to shovel up. But I find I tend to get some really nice fine composted material down here. It's not composted in the hot sense of the word. There's a lot of fine bits of organic matter in there, really small little hairs it looks like. So I think it's a really nice blend. It's had its time to work down the hill slowly, decomposing as it goes. There would be a bit of fresh chicken manure mixed through here, but I don't think there's enough that it's going to pose any risk to the plants at all. Just to show you the bed I'm feeding up today, it's this one here. It had the 2 West Indian sour gherkins in it. Thank you very much, Peter, for giving us the seeds for these. They grew like wildfire. I don't know if it was the biochar we added in here or the horse manure or a combination of both, but they just boomed. The plants absolutely thrived in here. The fruit unfortunately wasn't to our liking. Some of the fruit was really sour, some was really sweet. It was a bit of potluck when we harvested them, so we decided to pretty much pull the 2 plants, mulched up the vine, they've gone into a compost unit, and I've saved a couple of fruit for seed. Not going to grow that variety again. It's one of those things, you try things, you like them, you don't like them, you know. So we decided we didn't like those ones. After the biochar was added to this bed, I planted out a whole heap of marigolds and mustards to look after a couple of nematode problems we had in here. But all that organic matter has been broken down by the worms and the microorganisms in the bed and pretty much all disappeared. It's looking pretty barren, so that's one of the reasons why I dug through the mushroom compost, and also going to be heavily mulching it with this hay, just so it will break down and add a bit more in there over time. And the roots that came from the cucumbers here, they're pretty much all perfect. I can't find a single gall on there at all. Most of the roots actually ended up getting mowed and put into the compost tumbler up the front. These are just some I've dug out of the bed, but I can't find any nematode galls or anything on these plants whatsoever. And just looking at the health and the vigour of these plants while they were in there, yeah, there's no way there was a nematode issue with these ones. So I think the marigolds and the mustards did their job at fumigating the soil, so most impressed with that. This is the other barrel that was infested with root knot nematodes that had the marigold treatment. I actually did a clip on this barrel and it's just boomed. We've got some ginger in there. It's the best looking ginger we've grown this year. Some nice big green fresh baby ginger. We've got a few volunteer mustards that have popped up, and we've got some beautiful beets as well, so they're an heirloom mixed variety, so we've been having the greens off them and waiting for the bulbs to form. So not a sign of nematodes. The beets, whenever we've had nematodes issues with them, they don't grow anywhere near this good. And also too, the ginger, it's just looking so fantastic. I don't think there's a problem in here as well at all. So definitely sold on using the marigolds as a nematicide or something to treat the nematodes in the soil. But anyway, off to look at the other bed. The bed itself, this soil in this bed is a mixture. I don't know if I mentioned it in the biochar clip, but this soil is a bit of a mixture. It's soil that came from the original ground here, and also some soil that we've bought in, and the amendments we've put into it over time. What we have found, I saw a few up here before, is we've got a whole heap of earthworms in this bed. Not compost worms, but earthworms. So I'd say they came in with the original soil and they're still thriving in here. So getting on to what I'm adding to this, I've put in probably about 1.5 inches or about 40 millimeters of the chicken scratchings just over the top here and turned that in. Because there wasn't a lot of organic matter, I'll see if I can find some on the surface here. I added in some of, here we go, I added in some mushroom compost we had just left over from some other beds out the front. I've put probably, there's a couple more of the little worms up the top here, probably about 2 or 3 of those buckets worth in here as well. That's all that I had left. I dug that through and just turned over the top sugarcane mulch into it as well, so hopefully that'll provide it with a bit of organic matter. The only other additive I have given it is some of our CBM fertilizer. Actually it's a commercial blend, not ours, we bought it. It's composted chicken scraps, blood meal, bone meal, and just a couple of minerals. It's just from a local organic mob here. I've put some of that through there. So hopefully that should be enough to boost this bed up. Hoping to put some tomatoes along the back there. I'm just going to let it sit for a week or two while the seedlings get all sprout basically. Going to try indeterminate tomatoes during our winter or our cool season. The KY1s went good last season, so we'll see how they go. Along the front here I'm not too sure. I've also got some compost cooking up near the house, so I can top dress the mulch with that probably halfway through the season. I'll be able to give it a nice feed as well, so that should keep the tomatoes and the soil happy, I think. The other bed I've done up is just up the top here. I did it over the last couple of days. It's the top bed up here, had the black Russian tomatoes in there. I pulled them out the other day along with the tigerellas, or what was left with them, and the roots were just gnarly with nematodes up this end here. None of the other plants seemed to be affected. The carrots that were growing next to them weren't, so what I decided to do was treat the soil anyway. I went around the yard and got all the French marigolds I could growing in different places, mulched them up really fine with the secateurs, took a while, and put that through the soil. What I did was remove probably about 4 inches worth of soil, just pushed it to one side, laid down all the mulched up marigolds, put that over the top, and that should fumigate the soil as they compost down and kill off any root knot nematodes. Not the good nematodes, just the bad ones. They're the ones we're after getting rid of. And then after that, the soil was just fed up with a couple of barrel loads of the chicken scrapings you saw before, and also some more of that CBM fertilizer, and away we go, just top dressed it with this mulch. So hopefully it should break down into some nice soil, should get some of the worm activity back in here as well. Worm castings actually. 2 buckets of worm castings went on top of this bed. I just don't have any to put on the other bed as of yet, so we'll wait and see. There's one of our pesky little friends. Get him for the chickens. So many grasshoppers in here, but there's a different clip. So there you go, there's the bed all fed up. I actually did add a bucket of worm castings. I got 2 up there. I'll save the other one for the potting mix. So it's pretty much all done. So if you do have any comments about anything I've done with this bed, just keeping in mind, I'm not telling you how to feed up your beds, I'm just showing you how I'm doing it this time round. There's loads of different theories on how you feed up beds, the sort of fertilizers. I'm just showing you what I've got at hand and how I'm doing these ones up. If you do have any comments, questions or suggestions, just pop them in the comment section below and I'll get back to you. Other than that, I hope everyone in the Northern Hemisphere is having fun getting ready for their spring gardens, and everyone down here in Oz is preparing for the winter. So, not too far away now. I'll leave it at that. You gonna say goodbye, girls? Chicken Little wants to. Bye bye, chookies. Have a great one, guys. Catch ya. I think the girls would like a little treat. What do you reckon? Yeah?
Yes.
They like their Marties. Got a few more to give them too later.